Hello, I am the Shadow Trader. This is Shadow Analysis, and today I'm going to go over ticker symbol SURG. Now, I didn't really do analysis on this earlier on X. I just saw what I saw when I first saw it, drew it out, posted it, and it didn't look very good. But is that true? Let's go over it. I don't normally judge a book by its cover, uh, normally, right? Depending on what the book, depending depending on what, depending on the book, right? Okay, so there are some very standout things that can be judged um initially, right? So it's not completely true. But let's take a look at this. Let's start with the weekly. Let's start there, see what's going on. Okay. Ooh, okay. So this one looks like it could have potential. Uh, all right, well, I mean, you're probably not gonna like it, but let me show you what I see. I don't like this right here. And I'm gonna mark it, but I'm going to mark it as a secondary. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it right there, right? And we're gonna make that red. Okay. Uh, yeah. Actually, well, no, no. Actually, make it white. Because that could be a good thing. I mean, it's never a good thing when a stock goes lower, but unless you're looking to buy more. But if there ever was a true bottom, that could be it. Or, a little further down, it's never gonna stop right there. Um, but here's the thing, okay? You gotta, well, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's finish. Let's finish. Um, so you stop here. There's nothing there. Yeah, because you're going straight down. There's nothing there, which leads me to believe that this probably isn't done here. Um, th- I guess I'll just mark the bottom that we made, but I already marked the other bottom that I think is going to possibly happen here. Um, okay, guys. Okay, so this actually looks pretty damn promising, but I don't think it's ready to do its thing just yet. Hear me out. I do think it's going to come down here. Excuse me. And if this is a breakout, then that's probably your spring, right? You're probably going to come down here. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm just trying to explain that you're probably going to come down here and then you're probably going to go if this is bullish. We're going to take a look at that. Uh, this is what I would call um, more of a neutral pattern, right? Because again, you're going to come down here. I'm sure of it. And if you don't, then that's not good because then you're possibly going to go down there in the future And again, you don't want that from your stock. Although if you do get out at the top, then you know it was worth it, and you can get back in down here at a cheaper price if you want to invest back into it if you believe in this company. Now, uh, there is light at the end of the tunnel from what I can tell, although I'm probably just overlooking things. But let's take a look at what is kind of happening here. And I think, well, we'll start here. Okay. So, okay. Hold on. So, okay. I don't want to see any more of that. Let's go move. Let's move on. There's quite a few things I want to take a look at. It's going to tell me right away whether or not this thing is possibly bullish. That's interesting. I like that. You might actually be going higher here. It's hard to tell because, well, first of all, we're way zoomed out. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, it's hard to tell because this could curl. Uh, the SMA is pointed up. You are peeking your head through. But to me, that seems like maybe a bit of a bull trap, bear trap. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, bull trap, because you're trying to trap the bulls, right? Because you're trying to stop people from buying, thinking that it's gonna fall. But let's look. Sorry, I was a little confused. But let's look at the evidence further. All right. Now, and actually, we'll get rid of that. I don't need this, and then that'll give us because I want to look at. Wait a minute, hit the wrong one. That was the right one. Okay. So you are going further down so far. Now this could curl here, or it could curl instantly, sure. But it does signal as of right now, and it's 2:19 p.m. that you are going down. Okay, so you could. I mean, look, you broke through this resistance. So what are the rules? What do I tell you guys every time? You got to come back down, and you got to clear that support eventually. So you might as well do that now, right? Right? Worst case scenario, and I mean, and look, that's the gap. That's the gap. So you'd be covering the gap. Worst case scenario, you break through that and you go further down. But if you do that, you're also going to get what I explained earlier, is the spring. And I don't know if it's time for that yet, but the weekly does look as if, let's see, let's go here, and we'll also look at here. So, mhm, mhm. It's a bit 50-50, right? So you've broken below the final SMA, and it is starting to curl. And you do have the zero line right here. And so worst case, the best case scenario here is that you curl down and you come back up. That's kind of what I have here, right? That's kind of what I pictured possibly happening up here. Uh, you crossed over the zero line here. Your SMA is green. It's bullish. Um, you could easily bounce off that SMA, or you could cross through it. It's up in the air right now. Very up in the air here so far, right? It's 50-50. Like, I could easily, I mean, it's too early to tell, right? But also, we're missing a couple pieces of evidence here to kind of put it all together. There's always another piece. Mm. Hmm. Okay, so mm, you can definitely go higher on the MACD. I also think that the MACD, again, similar to here, can do something like this. And really, that's kind of where the evidence so far, if you have been paying attention, that's really where the evidence has been pointing towards, right? Um, yeah. So the evidence really have been pointing towards coming down, touching that gap. Then you're confirming support, and then you're moving further up. Uh, so far, that's what it's looking like. But we're also missing some further evidence, right? Now, outside of the indicators, now we got to look at price action. We're only looking at the weekly, and the weekly is very slow. So yeah, it's going to look neutral. So let's go down. Let's go down. Yearly, daily, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so okay, better, right? MACD's pointing up. Now you've come further down here. You're still below the neckline here, but you could cross it as soon as tomorrow. You've already crossed through the RSI. You're starting to churn up. You could cross here then. No momentum so far coming through on the volume here. Um, Price action looks good, but you're currently resisting the neckline here. If you break through that, you could shoot higher, most likely. If you get denied here, obviously, that would be a great place to get denied according to the indicators here, right? And uh, the evidence shows that that's probably what's going to happen here, right? We've gone bearish. Now it could flip around. I could be wrong. Could flip around. Best case scenario for you. You already did get a signal here. 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 Interesting. Interesting. Bottom looks about right. So you could very well flip here and get a real top somewhere. Because this isn't a real top, realistically, right? So you could be going higher for another one. Stay tuned for that. Let's move down. Let's go to the 4 hour. Ooh, look at that. So you are currently starting to turn. Whether or not you get denied, I don't know. But if this does end up crossing and turning bullish here, you could be very well testing that trend line coming up. and it looks pretty good for that. To be fair with you, you got fake highs here, right? Nothing real, nothing tangible. You might create one up here, and then come back down and hold this as support before going higher, right? Mm. Gotta hold that higher low. Gotta hold that higher low. Let's move down to the hourly. I mean, it looks pretty evident that it's probably gonna go from here. Um, you got a higher low, right? Last time you guys came here, you didn't even go low enough here to grab a signal, right? But you still held a higher high here, and that's important because you are crossing up. You are green on the SMA. I don't see why we couldn't go higher and retest that trend line, man. Now I need to get price targets for this going forward. I've only just started looking at it, so I'm gonna add this to the list. We'll follow this and see where it goes from here. Uh, but it looks pretty effing good, guys. It looks pretty good. Mm, hmm. 5 minutes, 13. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you bottomed on the short term, so you're definitely going higher in the short term, which could end up pushing you to the bullish side on the higher charts for the more macro. So macro compared to, the 5 and 15 anyway. All right. Well, I think that's everything. Obviously, the final outcome, bullish, right? Bullish, bullish, bullish. And did we look? Oh yeah, well I don't have price targets yet, but did we look to see? Oh yeah, right. Right. So the idea is you got to break this trend line. All right. Now, um, when I look at the man, see when I look at this, I mean this drop looks. It actually looks more severe than it really is, to be honest with you. The difference between 258 and well, covering the entire gap, 150. It's a dollar. It's not really much. And then if you did drop, you're still holding a higher low, sort of. But you still got to come down here to cover the entire gap. But obviously, you would bounce back up immediately and then start like. 'Cause if you did end up coming down this far, it's not looking like that so far. Um, at least on the bigger charts, it's not looking. On the bigger charts, it is kind of looking like that, but on the smaller charts, it's not. So, like I said, that could change the bigger chart, and we'll have to see. As of right now, like I said, it looks really bullish. And I would argue that even if it came down here, still, that again, it would be bullish. And you do want to come down here sooner rather than later, right? You want to cover this gap. You want to get this done because you want to be able to push higher and not have this gap sitting here in the back of your mind like, oh, are we ever going to come down and cover this thing? When? Is that now? And you're always going to have that in the back of your mind. But you come down and cover it now, and it could be a quick spike and then just right back up and holding this as support and moving sideways, right? Because the more sideways you move, the closer you're moving to this trend line. I think all in all, we look way more bullish here than we do bearish. And there's one way you can tell that by looking at the price action. So when you're moving sideways, it's mostly like it's very neutral, right? And like I said, you could come down here and that could spring you. Um, Maybe you won't. All right, forget about it. Not even doesn't even have anything to do with what I'm about to say. But although you could come down there, you've only touched this support once, twice. That right there is extremely bullish because normally when you test a lot of resistance, one, two, three, and you didn't quite touch it here. I've got the four touch rule. Four touches, you go. You either break on the fourth or you touch it four times and you break on the fifth. Always. If the fifth is resistance, you go down. But here's the thing, just like you're touching a bunch here, if you were going to go down, you would also touch a bunch here. You'd want to test that support, see where the weak spots is. You want to try to break it. And then finally you go down. The fact that you've only come down here, did you even touch it? Yeah, you touched it here. The fact that you've only come down here and touched it twice is extremely bullish to me. And even if you came down here all the way and came through, I would not even be worried about it. I wouldn't. I know that it's possibly a spring, but I also know that the fact that now, unless you did something like this, where you came down, broke it, like I said, and you came back up and then held it and then went like this, then I would be like, all right, something's wrong here, right? And I don't think that's the case, but until it proves that to you, and it's capable of anything. You could feel however you want to feel. At the end of the day, stocks don't care about your feelings. You got to be a shark out there. But holding on to this, as I said, as it dropped, is not a bad thing because I definitely think it's going higher. But the this resistance, holding resistance, scares me because you could continue down here and it could be a much shorter trip down, right? Um, but it's looking like you're probably going to break this, and that's great. But the real concern is this one right here. And this one you got to break. If you break this one, you're going way higher. I will get the price targets on that. This is probably one of the first you're going to have to break here. Right. Well, this resistance is going to be number one here. Right. And then you're going to go, you got to break this one. Let's say here, probably. Look at the price targets for you guys, but a lot of movement here. There's going to be a lot of volatility is the word I'm looking for. There's gonna be a lot of volatility in this area over here when you guys do finally break. So, the fact that you haven't hit a high on the weekly, the fact that you have hit a high, um, um, yeah, you have hit a high here, but I mean, the difference here, and it could change. It could easily turn around as this continues down. But it's not looking like there's a huge difference between price and movement on the indicator. So I think you could easily bottom out somewhere, whether that's here or whether that's somewhere like in here. 'Cause you got a lot of volatility here as well. You know, very possible that this moves down while this continues to move up as well, showing just how bullish it is, right? Uh, yeah, yeah. But the weekly hasn't topped out yet, and as I said, I have a very strict four touch resistance rule, and this one is looking prime for that break on the very next touch. So looking forward to that, and we'll keep track of that. But it is looking really good right now. So good news for anyone holding it. If it's a trade, then you might just make some damn money. You know what I mean? So hot stock news. There's your analysis. Good pick. I want to thank everyone for watching this video. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Give me a sub if you enjoyed watching this video, and if you want to see more of it and get notified of it in time, hit that notification bell. Um, so yeah, thanks everyone for watching this video, and I will see you on the next one. It's almost time for end of day as well. Ciao, everyone.